Hi everybody, and welcome back to this fantastic tutorial for Cinema 4D. This is Moises Perez, aka Moilobito, and I am very glad you're still here with us. In the following lessons, we will continue modeling some of the details for the buildings. So, let's begin. So this is where we left last time, and as you remember, we modeled this door, and we're just going to make a copy of it, and we're going to use it for the one on the left. So just rename these doors and take this one to the left. And now we can come to the front view. And here we're just going to resize this door until it is the size that we need. So we can just scale down this door and just place it in the middle. And we can now scale this vertically. Okay. And you remember that we modeled this grid as well. So we're just going to make a copy, and we're going to recycle this grid as well. And we can delete the one on the right, and we're just going to work with this one. So basically all we have to do is take the different cylinders that make this grid, and we're just going to resize them until they fit on the window. So let's select them, and let's just make sure that we are on the object mode there. So now we can select and resize them. So let's start with these ones. We can change the size for these two ones, and now these other two. Okay, 95. That's going to work. And now let's continue with this one. Okay, so now let's go to the other ones, and let's just change the size as well. Okay, there. And now we can just close these groups. And we can select the whole thing and just move it back. Okay, there. And now let's just make a copy and rename it to grid R, and just move it to the right. And just make sure that this is centered. That should work. And now we can come to the perspective view and see the whole thing. We can make a render, and we can see that this is looking very good. So now we're going to take both of these elements and we're going to place them inside of this first floor. And we are going to place all of the elements that belong to the building O1 inside of the folder. So let's drag this first floor, the second floor, and also this third floor. And now we can see that we can now drag this fourth floor, and we're going to select both of these and place them inside of a null object and rename it fourth floor and just place it inside of this group. So now all of the elements for the building O1 are inside of one group, and we can now continue. So now I'm going to show you the method that I use to save my documents, and especially when I'm working big projects. And it is very simple, but it is very effective, and it can get you out of a lot of trouble. So we're going to basically just go ahead and save the document. So just go to File, Save, and now it is saved. And we can now just go ahead and close this document. So when it's closed, we can just go to our folder where we have the document, and we're just going to copy this document. So let's go to Edit, Copy, and now you remember this folder that we made is C4D Backups. We're just gonna open it and paste the document that we copied, and after that we're just going to rename this new document, and this is going to help us just for sometimes you are working a big project and your file gets corrupted or it doesn't work anymore, and it's better if you have a backup so you don't have to start from the beginning. You can start from some point, and maybe you have to work again some parts, but you don't have to work from the beginning. So this is why I do these backups, and I recommend you do the same when you are working big projects. It's going to save you a lot of time and lots of headaches. So I would normally do this process at different stages of my project. And whenever I feel like I have done a considerable amount of work, I would just go ahead and save the file, close it, make a backup, and reopen the file. And in the file that I reopen, I would eliminate all of the elements that I have on the trash group. So I keep everything clean. And after that, I would just continue working. So now we can see that this building is finished. So we can go ahead and continue working on the second building. And we are going to recycle some of the elements, starting with this door. We are just going to make a copy and use it for the second building. So let's find where these doors are. Here, doors for the second floor. And let's just open this group and select any of the doors, and we're just going to make a copy of it. Just Control C and Control V to make the new copy. And now we can just move these doors and place them on the second building. And to do that, we can come to the front view so we can see better. And now let's come to the second building. Okay, we're going to start resetting the rotation values. Just change that to 0. And after that, we can just go ahead and place this window, and we can scale these elements so they fit on this hole. Okay, so let's get closer. So let's just make sure that this is right. Okay. Now we can come to the perspective view. And here we can see that we can push this so it doesn't look exactly like the other building. We're going to rename it to door A, make a copy, rename it to doors B, and now we are going to just place the second door, just move it to the right. Okay, scale it down a little bit. Okay, good. Now we can see that we have a hole for another window here, but here in our reference we don't have that hole. So we're just going to select the building O1 object, select the polygon mode, and we're just going to select all of these polygons, and we're just going to delete them. So let's select everything and make sure that the only select visible elements is turned on, so we don't select any of the polygons on the back of this building. So just select everything, press delete. Okay, so just delete them, and we're going to use this tool, close polygon hole, and we're going to close that hole. So now the building is similar to the one that we have in our reference. Okay, that looks very good. So now we can come here and select these doors, and we're just going to move them a little bit, but make sure that you select the right axis. There, that's okay. Let's make a render, and we can see that this is going very good. So now we can continue making the doors for the fourth floor, and we're going to recycle some of the doors from the first building, and let's go ahead and find the doors. Here we're going to just make a copy. So again, just uh, copy and paste. And now we can come to the front view. And here we're just going to reposition this door. Okay, so let's get closer. And let's just resize this. Okay, make sure that this is the correct size. And reposition it. Okay, and that should work. And here we can see that we have to move this on the z-axis. There, that's okay. Okay, so now we're just going to rename this to window A, and we're going to just duplicate it and move it to the right. So just make a copy. Okay, just move it. And this one I want it to be different. So I'm just going to change the size and just move it back. And we're going to duplicate this part of the door and just rename it window up or top, and just rotate it 90 degrees and just reposition it. And we can just scale this down and make it fit. And just move it up a little bit there, like that. So now these doors look different. And I can see that I didn't duplicate the first set of windows, so I worked on the first set instead of a copy. And we don't have the original windows, but that's not a problem. We can just make a copy and reverse the process. We're just going to rename this to window A and the second one to window B. And we're going to take window A and move it to the left. And we can delete this part that we don't need. And now we just have to, again, resize these windows so they are the size that they have to be. Sometimes you can make these kind of mistakes. It's nothing to worry about. Just fix it and don't worry about it. Okay, so let's just adjust the size. Okay, so now it looks very good. Like I said, nothing to worry about, nothing that we can't fix. And now we're just going to make a copy. Okay, so um, let's just make sure that this is right before we continue. And now we can just go ahead and duplicate this set of windows and just rename it to window C and move it to the right and just place it where it has to be. Maybe scale it down a little bit there. So now we can come to the perspective view, and here we're just going to check that everything is okay and we're good. So now we can rename these groups. Let's change this to doors A and this other one to doors C and the other one to doors B. Okay, very good. So now make a render and we can see the frames when we render it, and that's going to give it some extra detail. So now let's select all of these elements and let's place them inside a new null object. And let's rename this null object to fourth floor. And we're going to open the building O2 group and place this fourth floor inside. And we're going to do the same for the doors on the third floor. Just rename the group and place it inside of this group for the building O2. Okay, so now we are going to select this polygon here and we are going to make an extrusion because we can see here in our reference image that we have another door here. So we're just going to select that polygon and we're going to extrude it. But first, let's go ahead and here at the bottom, we can see that we have some polygons that we don't really need. So let's go ahead and select all of these polygons. And we're just going to delete them because we don't really need them. So let's go ahead and just press delete. And now we don't have those extra polygons that we don't need. And now we can just go ahead and extrude this polygon. So let's press letter D to bring out the extrude tool. And let's make an extrusion. And as you can see, it looks like this extrusion is not working, but it is because we had the create caps option turned on. So now it's working. And we can see that when we check it on, it makes another cap. So let's just turn it off and let's make some extrusions. The first one has to be a small one. And let's make a bigger one. And the last one is going to be also small. Okay, so now let's work with the doors for the first floor. And we're going to make a copy of one of the other doors. So let's select that from the third floor. And let's duplicate it and just move it. And of course we can come to the front view. And here we can see the kinds of doors that we have to make. So now let's just, as usual, let's place this door in the middle and let's scale it until it is the right size. Okay, and let's move it to the right a little bit. And let's scale it a little bit more. Okay. And now we can just make a copy and just move this one to the left. And we can just scale this up a little bit. And just place it in the center. So let's rename this one to doors C. Okay, let's come to the perspective view. And here we're going to just move this, just push him a little bit. So now let's place them in a null object. And let's rename it to first floor. Now we are going to select this building O2 and we're going to delete all of these polygons here. We don't really need them, so we can just delete them. So select them and press delete. And we're going to do the same with these polygons. Just select them and delete them. And we have to delete these two. Okay, so just delete them. And we can see now that this is cleaner and it looks better. Okay, so now we can make visible the first floor. So we can make a few renders now and see how this is looking so far. And to me, this looks very good. So this is all for this part of the tutorial, and I will see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.